acknowledge and honor the process of death and the dignity of people dying and the needs of them and their family to be supported and encouraged and to live with grace all through this time.
As a funeral director, I found that the families I was dealing with that had been involved with the past palliative hospice program were much more ready to deal with the decisions they had to make when they lost a loved one. So that's what drew me to the program.
It's really what nursing is all about. Giving people the comfort that they need and the dignity, and sometimes it's hard to express. It's a very rewarding career.
Well, I got started with hospice care many years ago when I was asked by the oncologist to sit in on rounds and give medical input. And I loved working with the team very much, and I've been doing this for a long time because I just don't, it's hardly work to me.
What makes it unique is that it's a very holistic approach in the sense that we don't just look at the physical or medical needs of people. We look at their emotional needs, their spiritual needs, and we don't just look at the person, we look at their loved ones, their support group, and what they need too. So we sort of look at a bigger picture than maybe other medical areas do. I think that's what makes it the most unique.
End-of-life care of a loved one can be very complex and exhausting for the immediate family, and our program, which includes care both at home and in hospice, provides support during the final phase of the patient's illness.
My father passed away in a hospice within Canada, and I think until you have had the opportunity to be involved in a hospice environment, there's just nothing to prepare you for how wonderful that is. And that is actually how I think a lot of volunteers and people come to hospice, is because they've had that experience, and it's so profound.
My journey with Penticton Mogan Friends Hospice House started about 14 years ago. At that time, my husband was diagnosed with terminal cancer. Our world turned upside down. He was one of the first individuals to be moved into palliative care here when the house opened, and we were just so impressed with the care that he received. The staff were so kind and compassionate, not to mention their professional care for him was superb. And I felt really supported as a young wife and mother going through such a difficult time. So I'm pleased to say 14 years later, I'm involved in hospice in a different way. I'm part of a vibrant and passionate team of volunteers, and I really love my role.
The feeling of honor of being with people, even for a short moment of their life, was extraordinary.
And the program is vital based on all the components, from the doctors and the nurses to the volunteers and the individuals who are dying. It is because we all work together in a truly interprofessional and humanistic way that it works.
Everybody benefits from having the volunteers, and what they offer is absolutely immeasurable, and hospice wouldn't function without that part of our team.
And it always sends shivers up my spine because it is the touch that absolutely matters. And I would recommend this to absolutely anybody who has time to go and do it.
One lady has said to us, she said, when I get a massage, she says, I feel so special. And she says, I forget about all my aches and my pains and what's happening to me. And she just, every week she looked forward to it.
I think I was in the second training program that came about, and it was really, the reason was just because I felt that there was a need for assisting people that were going through the dying process. Well, it's grown tremendously and in so many good ways. Of course, we started, we had the palliative care unit on the 3rd floor in the hospital, and look what we have today. We've now got the hospice house from 1998 with the 12 beds, and that's just one more important branch to be able to serve the community.
I think if people were educated in what palliative care has to offer, they would quite commonly prefer to use this model of care and avoid the more invasive procedures at the end of life.
it's a real benefit to the people going through loss, and it helps prepare them for a lot of decisions they have to make.
We go into individuals' homes that are on the palliative program, and we'll provide a service for them as a volunteer. I think this program is really crucial. I think it enables people to remain in their home if that's their desire, and I think it also provides support to the caregiver, which is really important. They're often tired and distressed and just feeling at loose ends, so it gives the caregiver a bit of a break to have the support there. And I think for the individual that's on the palliative program, it's wonderful that they can remain at home and we can come in and provide companioning or massage or whatever their needs are.
The volunteers within hospice, their role is to aid families and residents here at Mogan Friends in whatever they might need. Sometimes that can look like a cup of tea, and other times sitting for an hour and just having a conversation. Their role is huge here, and they support families, they support residents, they support the nurses and all of the other staff.
The one thing that drew me was the first time I walked in here, the peace of mind that existed as you walked in the front door, and then realizing that there was a very unique facility for people to come for end-of-life care.
I guess unless you've gone through it yourself, you don't know what the benefit is, but it's there for them.
People often ask me, how can you do that for a living? How can you just sit by and watch somebody die and not do anything about it, as in save them or cure them? There's a lot to be said for being able to be supportive and provide comfort and care to people in their most difficult time of their life during that journey that they take. So I think that we do a lot, and I find it very rewarding. Facing death and dying is probably one of the hardest things we'll ever do. And although it's a natural thing, we tend to forget that it's just a natural part of life. So it causes a lot of stress. The grieving process is difficult. And it's not just physical, it's also spiritual and emotional. And so we have a lot to offer for that.